Bright yellow beacon. That's the Wright Brothers
National Memorial.
beautiful day.
Well, we made it. Cheers! Well, a rainy, windy good morning from Barco, North Carolina. Sun can't always shine, right? And boy, we've had it come down. There are puddles in the entire parking lot. But we don't care. We're still out here walking and enjoying all this space.
Hey gang, obviously this is a little bit different of a setting. We're back here in Florida and it's about 6 weeks since our trip. So we're going to take a deep dive today into the topic of harvest hosts. We have been on 3 road trips, one to the Northeast, that was our first, and then we went out to the west to Yellowstone, that was our second, and then this trip up to Maine and back was our third. In these 3 trips, we have stayed at approximately 50 harvest host locations. We use Harvest Host exclusively and wanted to share with you some things and maybe debunk some ideas that you might have about Harvest Hosts already.
What's up, guys? Oh, one sec. That's a lot better.
Hey guys, this is Jules with Pezska the RV, and today I wanted to talk to you about a program that honestly we could not live without in our RVing adventures. So let me tell you more about Harvest Hosts. Harvest Hosts for us means the freedom to stay wherever we want to and not be confined to campgrounds or RV parks, most of them really closely located to an interstate.
I think one of the things that surprises me about Harvest Hosts is how secluded we feel when we're at a Harvest Host. Typically, we're the only RV that is there. When we've been with multiple RVs, it's never been a problem because they're typically spaced pretty far apart.
Today I want to share with you how to navigate through the Harvest Host app or website, depending on what you use. So when you first log in, you will see a button called Search or Plan Route. Depending on where you're at in your RV trip planning, you're going to find either option beneficial. Search is when you already have your harvest hosts picked out. You just want to maybe look at them or see if there's any others close by, see what reviews they have, etc. Plan route is when you know where you want to go, but you have no idea what harvest hosts are there. We love that feature because it lets us explore exactly what's in the area of where we want to go. So for example, you click on route, you enter your current location, and then you click you want to go to Savannah, Georgia. It'll create that route for you. You can even add stops. You can make that route as big as you want. It's almost like a GPS, but be careful, it's not a GPS. It's not going to give you any warnings about accidents or anything like that like an actual GPS would, so just keep that in mind. Lastly, the last tab on the bottom in the app is your profile. And this is not just where your personal information is or where you can change your passcode or refer a friend. This is where you establish a bio. You tell others about yourself, about your rig. And yes, you get rated potentially from the harvest host locations where you stay at. So not only can you give a review, others can give you and your rig a review on how they thought you were as a guest. That seems a little frightening, but honestly, I love boosting my reputation to other hosts. That way I know they'll definitely welcome me wherever I want to go. So this is just a great opportunity to tell your locations on who they're going to have as a guest. So
we've stayed at many different kinds of farms. And when you stay at a farm, you have an experience. It can be as just simple as watching and looking at the animals. One of the places we stayed at this last trip, we fed the horses and fed the goats. We had carrots and we fed them to the animals, and that was really fun. Being able to be part of a wine tasting when the owner of the winery is doing the presentation, and very proud of his wines. The Train Museum in Kentucky. That was such a cool place to check out and to just stay there and then get to see the large trains that they had and also the museum and the model trains. We've stayed at several golf courses, and I'm not golfing yet. I will be soon, and that's a goal for one of the next trips, is to be able to get out on one of the Harvest Host golf courses. But you get beautiful views at a golf course. We did one in Kansas, we've done one in Georgia, a couple in Georgia actually, Wyoming. Just the different places, beautiful scenery at golf courses. Sometimes you get to see different, deer and different wildlife will run around.
what we find super exciting as of spring of this year, 2025, they have partnered with Camper's Card, I believe it's called. So not only do you get to choose from a ton of fun locations, like I said, like wineries, breweries, or farms, or golf courses, you also get another huge variety of campgrounds where you could potentially stay at. And because of your Harvest Host membership, you're going to get a discounted night at those campgrounds. Keep in mind, all of this depends on your membership level. So hubby and I have, I believe, the highest membership that you can get, only because we wanted the maximum amount of options on where to stay when we travel. We pay $160 a year, I believe. Check that out and see which membership is right for you. On the bottom of the app, you'll see a button called Stays or Saved. Under Saved, you'll see all the Harvest Hosts that you've marked favorite, so you can go back to them later. Under Stays, you can see upcoming, past, and cancel stays. Canceled for locations that you maybe want to visit in the future. something got in the way. Pass is fun because you get to look back at where you stayed, and upcoming is really helpful for when, you're shortly before your trip starts and you just want to, pinpoint again, where are you going. Down below, you also see a little button called Messages. That's where you can message your host once you're approved, and I believe even before you're approved if you just wanted to inquire. For example, if you're traveling with your pets and they may not get along with other pets and you want to check if they have a dog or a cat or whatever it may be, you can send them a message and say, this is my situation, do you have XYZ? A lot of the hosts will use the message tab to communicate with you when they need to know what's your ETA, if you prefer a certain site, do you need hookup? It's just really easy communication within the app with your Harvest Host location.
Well, I hope this diversion from trip video to Harvest Host was very helpful to you. We're going to get back to the trip in just a second, but I wanted to let you know that we do have a discount code for Harvest Host. If you use it, you'll get 20% off the cost of your membership. Our discount code is Peszka20, and we have a link which I'll include in the comment section, and also we have the link posted right up here. So Peszka20 gets you 20% off of a Harvest Host membership. Try it out, we really recommend it. And also don't forget to like and ring that bell and subscribe so that you're able to get updates whenever we drop a new video. We're looking forward to giving you lots more information. But for now, back onto the trip. Something about Yorktown. We're especially excited about our day today. Yorktown was the very first destination we booked when we were planning this trip. Yorktown is important to us because we are both fans of the musical Hamilton, which tells the story of the life of Alexander Hamilton, one of our founding fathers. He played a significant role in the Battle of Yorktown, and that's something I didn't know, even though I've always felt I was a bit of a history buff. Jules and I listened to that Broadway musical during our trip to Yellowstone and back last year. We are both fans of the musical and love all the stories that really give great meaning to the Revolution and what happened during that time period in history. We're super excited to see it all today in real life. We're excited to go check out the battlefield and learn more about the history, especially for Jules, who came to America about 10 years ago from her native homeland of Germany. She's just become a U.S. citizen and loves Hamilton and loves American history. So this is going to be a fun day.
And achieved that victory by retaking British-occupied New York. But the French are unwilling to commit their navy that far north, and Washington knows he has no shot without their aid. Then a better option emerges in the tidewater of Virginia. General Charles Cornwallis garrisons his troops in Yorktown, digs in, and waits on expected reinforcements from the British Royal Navy. But the French intercept the British in the Battle of the Chesapeake, and those reinforcements never come. This leaves Cornwallis and nearly 9,000 troops exposed. Together with Rochambeau, he marches his coalition of American and French troops to Yorktown.
We downloaded an audio app to tell us about the battle, and it was not as effective as some of the other ones that we have used in the past. So we figured out pretty much on our own what we were seeing, and many of the roads were restricted to 5 tons, and since we were in Peszka and we don't travel with a tow vehicle, we just did the best we could. At the end of the day, we ended up at the visitor center, and we're going to share footage of that because it's far more interesting. So hang on, we'll zip around the battlefield and then show you the end of the day.
This is the Moore House. Once the British formalize their surrender, they request what are called war honors. This means their army can march off the field with their flags flying high, bayonets fixed, and drums beating. It's tradition at the time, and Cornwallis expects it to be granted without issue. But Washington hears of this request and immediately sends an answer. At the Battle of Charleston earlier in the war, the British had denied the defeated American army these honors, and Washington has not forgotten. Washington's furled and muskets shouldered.
Alright, so made it into the American Revolution Museum here in Yorktown. Hubby and the pups are staying inside the RV, and we're gonna go explore. So where we're walking right now is the outside, which they recreated to be a military encampment area. And during the Revolution, obviously this area was used for the military, but around it were just regular people who lived here, who lived in Yorktown, who lived in Tidewater.
I believe it was Virginia, and they had small houses, maybe 2 rooms, and then their kitchen would be a separate house, small, and they would be farmers and live off of whatever the land would produce for them. So this right here tells you back in the Revolution era what the most prized possessions were. And here they list it's kind of like a probate document, and it tells you what was most valuable. It's one of the houses that I talked about earlier. Not too small, but I guess this would be one of the houses, and then maybe this would be the kitchen building and where they would grow stuff. Absolutely incredible. And I do have no idea what they're growing there right now. Maybe tobacco? Alright, here we're getting a farm tour. Parsnips, turnips, onions, leeks, cucumbers, beans, lettuce, blue cocoa bean, carrots, squash, sweet potatoes, of course, scarlet Roma beans, dill. Incredible. Sweet little kitty. How are you today? My, you must be mighty old to still be here since 1781. Bye, ancient kitty. Bye. Looks pretty good.
A water scoop that's been coated in wax. I have just a plain gourd that I'm working on making something out of. And I have a gourd banjo.
Incredible. That's how they would play back in
yeah, in fact, it does play. So the strings on this are plastic, but they probably would have been like gut string historically. But this is real leather, and it's a real gourd that makes up the body of it. And a lot of people don't realize that gourds were in use in West Central Africa, and a banjo like this, the banjo essentially in its first iteration was invented in West Africa. So
that is genius.
Yeah.
Wow.
The first gourds are grown in North America. Indigenous people were growing gourds for a bunch of years before Europeans ever got here, but it's something that Europeans can adapt to.
Yeah.
And they become naturalized to West Central Africa, and a lot of the times they incorporate them into their culture. Right now I'm making a gourd rattle. So
these are from inside? No,
these are a different type of seed.
Or seeds, okay.
Yeah, these are called Job's tears, and they're a type of pearl barley. Yeah, so I have strung them on this little netting, and then when it's done, I'll tie it to the gourd, and it'll...
And another musical instrument, basically.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
In West Africa, typically, they are like cowrie shells is what they use on the outside, but we don't have cowrie shells in Virginia on our coast.
Sure.
So they would use what they have access to, and this is a good option because you can grow it. It's not expensive or anything like that.
Brilliant. Incredible. Thank you so much for your time and for telling me about that. I would have never known. So awesome. Thank you.
This represents the middle class family, so these are folk who are living a pretty comfortable life. They are not wealthy, they're not They're still going to get up in the morning and go out and work the field. They do live enslaved people. They're going to work alongside those folks. But at the end of the day, they have a pretty nice house to come in.
I would say so. Pretty nice and a lot more spacious than I thought, actually.
Well, this is a much improved house. The original structure, the original house, would have just been this front room. So it would be very crowded and pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as you make money, you make things better. So this house has been re-sided. It's on weatherboarding. I'm not in inexpensive covering. There's glass and sash in the window. Brick fireplace.
Yeah. Wow.
Back there too. You added a room. If you look into the second room, you'll see it's actually a bedroom with multiple bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have added plaster to the walls, this makes this room an extremely good room. So it's going to be referred to as the parlor. And we would entertain in this room. It's not weird at all. Entertain in the bedroom in the 18th century.
And what would entertainment be? Use of musical instruments or?
Here, just games. conversation is really an art form in movies. A lot of people spend time together and just talking.
John Adams. I know him. How brilliant is this? And who would think about that? Amazing. So this is quite incredible. This is a painting of the siege of Yorktown. And what else they've done here at this wall is these are the faces of people who were there, either at the siege of Yorktown or other battles during the Revolutionary War, and they were interviewed. And these are just snippets of their interviewed, obviously back in the day. But they're posted here so that we won't forget. And I like this one of this one woman, Sarah, the best. She was asked by George Washington himself, whether she was afraid of the cannonballs, and she said, "Nope, got to keep these soldiers fed." She was carrying beef and bread and whatever else was available. So yeah, the mission was to keep the men fed. Incredible. Now this would have been fun if we had the time, but of course we made it just before them closing. Sip, sip, hooray. 1781 Cafe. But we don't have time today. Maybe, Lord willing, if we get to come here again, we will make a stop there. But for today, this was awesome. What a great experience. Can only recommend. And if you can, give yourselves more than what we did, which we literally left ourselves 20 minutes. So if you can stop here with some time in your hand, do it. Hello. Excuse me, sir. May I scoot right? Would you happen to have the time? Or can you tell me where my husband went? He's about 6'2", 6'2". 3 dogs with me? No? What are you reading? Okay, well, I'll let you be.
So we had a really full day at the Yorktown Battlefield, got to see a lot of interesting sights, learn more about the battle and the history. The pups got great walks at several of the venues, and Jules enjoyed the museum. Now it's time to head back to our campsite at Machamoko State Park, which is just about 15 minutes north of Yorktown. But for now, one thing I would say is always be prepared to have to do different kind of driving maneuvers, especially if you're in an RV like a Class A, B, or C. Know how many lanes it takes to do a U-turn. It can come in really handy. And if you are going to do a U-turn, take it super slow.
And you may have to back up depending. Go. Oh, you can do it. I think.
Continue on US 17 North for 4 miles.
Easy. Oh, you did amazing.
That's how you do that.
Wow, babe.
33 feet.
Oh my god.
Could never do that with Class C though.
Even though you're shorter?
With a same size Class C, it wouldn't turning radius.
Yeah.
This has a much tighter turning radius. Thanks for joining Jules and me on this adventure. We hope you had some laughs, picked up helpful tips for your own RV journeys, and enjoyed seeing all the beautiful places along the way. We make these videos to give back to the incredible RV community. Sharing what we learned helps us all get better at life on the road, and it means a lot to have your support. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so that you won't miss our next travel story. Check the comments below for your exclusive 20% off code for a Harvest Host annual membership too. From Pezska the RV, safe travels and see you down the road.